think our speaker is on yet. Let me just check. She is. You have to excuse the noise in my place because I have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old this morning at my house. So kind of crazy. Not seeing our speaker yet. So we'll just wait a couple minutes. Maybe I can text her and see where they are. Where she is, I should say. We have Tricia coming on today from MLS, and she's going to go over all the latest rules and regulations. So should be very interesting. Just a heads up to everybody that's on the call. We're trying to put together a holiday party. It'll be January. I'll make sure I get the date right. January 8th. And it's going to take, we hope for it to take place down in Bloomington. So just kind of look for details on that coming up. And next week we're having Ann get on and a guy named Clark. And they are going to be talking about how to sign up your ACH through Sweet Assist and then how to check your account when you get paid and some other things on Sweet Assist. So that'll be next week. So I'm just trying to see if oh, Christy, you made it on. Hi. Are you there? I think you're muted. Oh, wait, no, not Christy. I'm sorry. I was wrong on that. Her name is Tricia. Let me try and get a hold of her. Yeah, not now. Yeah, I don't know where Tricia is. I don't see her. I'm going to have to give her a call. I'm going to mute my
know, I am so sorry.
Can everyone hear me? Sorry, I'm on the phone with Tricia right now. She's trying to get, they said they can't hear me. So I hope I don't know, where's Jeremy when you need him?
Right.
We can hear you just fine, Kathy. You were muted earlier.
He's got an infant, so. But they told me that they could hear
we
me
can
at
hear
first.
you. We can hear you.
Is that you coming in right now, maybe?
Well, I'm trying. I think it's connecting me.
We can hear her.
And it just looks like right now. And I am going to be signing off before you're done, just because I have both of my grandkids this morning, and they're 2 and 3 years old, and yeah, you know how that goes.
I understand. I have twin grandbabies that are 2.
Oh, fun. It says Zoom user.
Okay, I'm coming in.
Okay.
It looks like I'm going to get my PowerPoint up also, because I'm on a different computer. Again, I am so sorry for this.
It's okay. I'm just glad you're there. we have about 18 people right now, so.
Okay, perfect. And I think I can hear you guys.
Okay, good. Almost there, everybody. Oh, you just heard me, so that's good. Well, I'll hang up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, and then I'll let you share your screen.
Okay, I will get this up and I'll share. Thank you.
Okay, yep, bye-bye. Okay, she'll be right on, everyone. Sorry about the delay. She said her computer crashed, of course, her work computer, so she had to get on from her personal computer. So isn't that just how it goes? The one day you're going to do she said it never happened before. I don't know where she is. I know she could hear me.
Tricia's here. Can you hear us, Tricia? Tricia, if you can hear me, I just ask you to unmute.
What is, man? Are you
Sorry,
there?
my computer froze again. So I'm trying
Tricia?
really hard to get to you guys. Is
there she goes. Yay. I see her name. That's a good start.
Can you hear me?
Tricia, for some reason or another, we can't hear you. Seems like.
Can you hear me now?
Tricia, we can't hear you. We can't Kathy can't hear us, so you can start.
You are unmuted.
Okay, so I'm just getting my PowerPoint up here. Sorry, everything is running.
There we go.
Slow,
now we
and
should
I
be able.
don't know why. It's never done this before, and so.
Mute. There we go. Okay, are you there?
I am. I'm actually. If you guys are okay, I'm going to keep my camera off.
I don't know.
I'm sorry about that. I know it's not as personal, but technology just seems to not want to work today. So everybody can hear me though, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't I do this, because my PowerPoint is still thinking, and I don't want to waste everybody's time because I know we have a lot. Oh, there we go. It's coming. But I know we have a lot going on. So I'm just going to start going into a few things just so that way you guys, we make good use of your time, and that way we can open it up for questions when you're ready. But I just want to say thank you, first of all, for allowing me to come here and join you guys today. And hopefully we can do this again and things will not be so messy like it is today. So I am very, very sorry for that. I do want everybody to ask questions at any point in time because this meeting is for you guys. Don't feel stupid about asking questions, don't feel like they're stupid questions, because no question is a stupid question. Okay. And if you decide you want to ask questions later, then go ahead and email me, anything like that, and we can go through those. And of course, now it's not allowing me to do my PowerPoint. Sorry, guys. So are you guys okay if we just go through this, and I am going to just go through what I had on my PowerPoint without showing you a PowerPoint?
Tricia, are you there or?
Yep, you can continue, Tricia. Thank you.
Okay. So since it's not
just a
allowing me,
suggestion, is there a way that you can forward the PowerPoint to
I
any
will.
like Kathy or somebody, and they can
Yes,
present it?
I will do it in a PDF version. I'll see if
Jeremy,
my
are you
camera
there?
will allow me to work.
Thank you, Tricia. Yep. Send us the PDF or the PowerPoint that you have. I'll send it to everyone who's in here or in our roster. Okay. Thanks, Tricia.
Okay, I will do that, and let me see if I can get that done real quick. I don't know if my computer's going to allow me to, but again, real quick, I'll just get started. If you guys don't mind, I'll send that to you afterwards. Is that okay? Just because my computer, like I said, is not going to load. But again, ask questions as much as you want. We're just going to get started, and you're just going to have to look at me, and it appears Kathy too, because I think she's still trying to get things figured out. So as far as rules goes, I just want you guys to know that we really are here for you guys. We do everything we can to keep clean data. And with that being said, yes, there are times that things come into us. I don't want you guys to look at it as people are tattletaling, because right now, especially right now, we are getting a lot of claims of misrepresentation coming in, not only from agents, but we're getting them from home buyers. Some sellers, but home buyers. And there's a ton of claims of misrepresentation. So you always want to make very sure that the data that you're putting in the MLS is clean, accurate data. And with that being said, that's why we do what we do. We really are not here to fine everybody, but we do have our fine structure, which is very few fines, more notices. So one of the things we want you guys to know is if you do get a notice, even if it's just a notice and you go in and fix that, just let us know, because what we'll do then is we can go in and close it out. If we don't know, then we can't always close it out on time, and our system will automatically escalate that into a fine. And so know that if it is your first offense, we will waive those unless it's a major fine. If it is a second offense, then we do reduce them. Third offense, well, then at that time, you guys should know by then. So we can't always waive or reduce those. We typically don't do that at all, unless there's a good reason. But again, feel free to call us before it even gets to that. Or if you have questions on anything, just know that we are actually here to help you guys. So you can we have people do that all the time. We have people send things in for virtual tour checks, photo checks, public remarks, especially public remarks right now. And since the settlement, because we do allow seller concessions to buyers, there's seller incentives, we call them. So there's a lot of times where people want to check to see if that language is okay to go in there. We would much rather you have you send it to us so we can review it before you put it on, because there are still instances where we are getting commissions in the MLS. Now, commissions, I'm sure you guys are all aware, but since the settlement happened, there was a huge settlement that was about $420 million that did happen. And with that settlement, in order to be compliant with what the settlement says, we cannot, the MLSs, no MLS anywhere can allow commissions of any sort in the MLS, meaning remark sections, supplements, virtual tours. Even when you're sending out your auto emails, there cannot be commissions in there. Okay. Nothing that even remotely looks like a commission. And just know that the people who won this, I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they are still watching. They still do subpoena us as the MLS to see that no commissions are being put in the MLS. Now, we are being compliant by keeping it out of there, removing it when we can, sending the fines, but they will show that the brokerage is not. And so that is really, really important for you guys to know. That is, out of anything, I want you guys to know that more than anything, because they will go after the brokerage and the agent. And they did state that they are waiting to make an example out of somebody, and they have the money to do it. So that is one I really want you guys to know. I can't stress it enough. Please make sure that you're not putting commissions in the MLS. And if you're questioning it at all, send it to us. Okay. But some of the more common Q3 that we have seen as far as violations are the projected close date. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. That is our biggest one. In a quarter, now remember, this is spread over about 22,000 agents, but it is going to sound like a big number because in a quarter, we have about 2,000 notices. They're just notices that go out. We are creating a banner that's going to come up just like when you're about to expire. We are creating a banner that will warn you, stating, hey, you're getting close to your projected close date. Make sure you either push that close date out or mark your listing sold. So typically what will happen is our system automatically finds those and it will send you the notice out. And then once you have it updated, like I said, just call us so we can make sure to get it closed out so it does not go to a fine. But that's where the projected close dates are. That is one of our biggest ones that we have. Our second bigger one is virtual tours. As everybody knows, you can't have any branding in virtual tours, but in a lot of the virtual tours, and you don't always know it, that's why we do ask, again, you don't have to, but feel free to send it to us for virtual tour check, because there's live links in there, or that it goes out to social media. Sometimes like Matterport or Vimeo will have their logo on there, and that's okay. They can have the logo on there. It's just when you click on it, it can't go to their homepage. It can't leave that virtual tour and go to the homepage. Or sometimes it'll have the little half triangle that shows social media sites, and that would not be allowed. So just remember, everything has to stay within the tour. It can't go out to any other site. So if you're ever in question on those, feel free, like I said, please send it to us because that one is an automatic fine and we don't want to send those out. So send us all your tours for review. We're pretty quick about getting them done, usually within 10 minutes. If it's a really crazy busy day, it could take a little bit longer, but not typically. We try to review those as quickly as possible because we know that that is, something you guys need to do to present your listing, especially if you're just putting it live. So again, we do want to work with you on those. Late listings, that's another one. And that's one that just recently started more. I don't know why, but the uptick has become quite a bit. In Q3, we had over 300 late listings. And again, please ask questions on this. Sorry, hold on. I see there's one in the chat. So I'm going to. Oh, sorry. Okay, never mind. That wasn't for me. I will keep an eye on the chat though. So please feel free to ask questions. Don't be quiet. This meeting is for you guys. So, but what late listings are is when you guys go to put your listings in, you have 2 business days to get that listing into the MLS, whether it be just withheld or active or coming soon. Okay. So what happens is sometimes what we've seen is people have it in an incomplete status and they're thinking that the incomplete status is truly a status, but it's not. Think of incomplete as just more of a holding place for you. That's where you're going to hold your listing until you're ready for it to go active. So your listing contract may just not be active at that moment, but you know it's coming. You've been working with them. You have a lot of data that you can put on. And that's where you would keep your listing into in the incomplete status for them. But once your listing contract is active, and we'll talk more about that, once it is active, then it's going to go into, like I said, either coming soon or you will put it into active. And now, again, when you have your listings in withheld, you're going to talk to your broker about office exclusives, but we'll go over that also. So what is happening, though, is they feel that the incomplete status is their status that they need to be in, but it truly is not. So if you guys are ever in there and then you go to put it on and you do get a late listing, but you truly have a withhold form for it, give us a call because we will work with you on that. Okay. That's another one. It is an automatic fine. It's $25 per day that it's late. So it's after the 2 business days. So we'll break this down a little bit. I wish I had my PDF to show you guys. I'm so sorry about that. But for instance, if you take a listing contract and today, like let's say you guys go in and you get your listing contract, you're meeting with them today and you put your signature dates are today, but on lines, I can't remember exactly the lines, but I think I'm just going to say lines 3 and 4. It's this listing starts on this date and expires on this date. Okay. You signed it today, but they started it on the 15th. Well, that contract truly isn't live and active until the 15th. Okay. So you would have 2 business days from the 15th. Now, let's say the 15th falls on a Tuesday. So you would have all of Tuesday, and then you'd want it, actually Tuesday you would skip. You'd have all of Wednesday, and then by end of business day on Thursday, it would need to be in the MLS, either in withheld, coming soon, or active. Okay. So again, that's where you signed everything today, and then your contract starts on the 15th. So, that's going to be the difference here. So the important part to know is you signed today, contract starts on the 15th. That means your contract date starts on the 15th. But now let's say that you had met with them and they know they want to do it, but now you have to do everything through email because you can't meet with them, but they're okay with it. So you guys start your contract today. You have today as the contract date because you're going to email it off to them right away today, and you do that. So your start date on lines 3 and 4 again now are going to be 12/9, and they expire 12/9 of 2026. Okay, so that is the date that you put for your start date, but you send it off for signatures because you have not gotten all the signatures. So you send it off, but now they don't get it back to you for 2 days. Okay, so in a case like that, it's now going to be your listing contract date. Your active date is going to be that signature date because that is the later. Okay, so again, even though you put on lines 3 and 4 that it's going to start today, your listing cannot start today because they didn't sign it. So it's going to be whatever is later. Okay, so always think about that whenever you're thinking about when do I need to put it in? When can I start talking about this? When is my contract active? It's going to be whichever is the later. So if your listing start date is today, but they signed it 2 days later, that 2 days later is going to be your listing contract start date. That's the day you're going to want to use in the MLS, and that's the day you have 2 days from. Does that make sense? Those are 2 issues that we see a lot. We have those questions come in all the time. Does anybody have questions on that? No, everybody's quiet this morning. Okay, well, that's great. As long as you guys understand that. And again, if you're questioning that, just give us a call because we are here to help you guys. I can't stress that enough. We really are. So then I'm going to go on to the withheld listings. Again, always check with your broker No, you do not need to amend the contract because the reason you don't need to is because one of those dates is going to be your start date. So even though, let's say they start, and maybe your broker wants you to, so you might want to check with your broker on that. But as far as MLS is concerned, you would not need to because it is not an active started contract, even though your start date says today, but they couldn't sign until the 11th, that would then become your date. So maybe your broker would want you to, again, check with Randy and see. But as far as the MLS is concerned, we do not require that, because that then becomes your start date, because that's truly when you can start advertising and talking about that. And always remember, Minnesota state statute does state that you do need an active started contract in order to do anything on behalf of that too. So not only MLS, but Commerce does watch out for that stuff too. And if there's dates that don't match, again, please contact us so we can talk about it, because Commerce does have the right to subpoena us. If they were to get something that was turned into them, they would subpoena us to get into the MLS to see the records. So that's why it's very important to always know those dates and talk to us and work with us. If you're going to have it in late, that's okay. We will work with you on that. So yes, thank you for that question. As far as, yes.
Is it possible, like, let's say you talk to somebody at the beginning of September and you know that they're going to put it, like they're going to list, and you want to get some of that like stuff like out of the way beforehand, but they're not sure when they want to list. Can you do anything in the MLS, like, and just leave it as incomplete prior to that, or no?
Yes, that's where the incomplete is perfect. Nobody sees it. That truly is just a place. It's kind of like your notepad. Think of it as your notepad, where you're going to keep things at until you're ready to move it to an active type status. Also know that withhold, nobody sees that either, but you do need your contract to be active before it can go into withhold, even though nobody sees it. And the reason why is because in a withhold status, and I'm actually, this is a great segue into that, but in a withheld status, as long as your broker allows it, you are allowed to do office exclusives in the withhold. So that's why it's very important to make sure that it's started active contract, even in a withheld status. But the incomplete is just like your little notepad. Just know that it does purge after 21 days. So that's where you would have to clone it and start another one. So if it's going to be, longer than the 21 days, you just clone that before it expires, and then you have a new one on. So good question. Any other questions on that? Okay. So as far as withheld listings,
I do have one. Probably
Sure.
This is kind of dumb. So you mentioned something about commerce. So commerce is okay. What is that commerce you're talking about?
Commerce is where you get your license. E-commerce is where you do all your licensing. The state license law goes through. And so they are the ones who will track a lot of some of their stuff kind of covers what MLS does too. So as far as having listing contracts and stuff like that, obviously in order to put your listing in the MLS, it does have to be an active started contract. Just like e-commerce, I'd have to look at, I think it's state statute 82.6, it might be, it's an 82 something. That is where it goes over advertising and having a list, an agreement. I can't say even a listing contract, because it just states that you need an active agreement per your broker and legal hotline. They do state the certain agreements that you could or should use. So always check. And that's where, if you always call us about contractual stuff, we will always tell you to check with your broker, because we don't get to give contractual advice, but we do know that, as far as licensing stuff, we will have you talk to your broker and or call legal hotline. You have to call legal hotline with your broker though. So
I think one of the biggest things here everybody gets confused about is they want to sign their listing contract so that they can get it, but then maybe the seller's not ready to list for like a week. And
Yep.
Sometimes it's like, geez, should we just be on the down low, or should we just kind of send in the withhold? So the proper thing is within 2 days to have a withhold in there, right?
Right. And this will be up to you also. So you can sign the contract today and push that listing start date out. Like I said, you can push that out to whenever they're ready. The only problem with that is it's not for sure a secured contract, and somebody could come in and swoop it away. So again, we always say check with your broker. Your best bet to do, if you want to secure that contract and you want to make sure that, nobody else can come in and take that away, then yes, it's best to get that contract signed, start it today, and just put it in withhold. Okay, because once it's in withhold, it's there. Nobody can see it but you and your broker. If you choose to, again, this is where I'll go into the withheld listings. If you choose to, and if you guys are allowed to do office exclusives, while it's in withhold, you could do it as an office exclusive and let people within your brokerage know about it. But you don't even have to do that. You can just keep it in the withhold status and nobody sees it. So that way you can get photos ready, you can get painting done, you can get whatever it is done. Or let's just say they know they want to do this listing, but they don't want to start it till spring, but you want to secure that with them. Go ahead and do that. It can stay in the withheld status as long as you need it. It can stay in there up until the point that it sells if you want. So that's going to be your best way to secure that contract and make sure nobody can take it away from you, even if they're not completely ready to go live. Okay. Does that all make sense there? Okay, perfect. And so with that being said, that's where the withheld status comes in so perfect. Withheld does not always mean that it is an office exclusive. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's the difference between coming soon and withheld?
Yes, perfect question. And I've got it coming soon coming also. So with withheld, that means there's no public marketing at all. There cannot be any sort of nothing, no signs in the yard, nothing. However, while it's in withheld, as long as there's no public marketing and you keep it within your brokerage, then you can still show that property. You can still act on behalf of the sellers and do everything you would within your brokerage to your brokerage clients. Okay. So while it is in with a withhold status, you can show it within your brokerage. You can talk about it. You can do all of that. It's just, remember, there's absolutely no public advertising. Okay. And then I'll go into coming soon, but basically coming soon is it's active. It's out there for everybody on the MLS to see. You can advertise it all you want. You just cannot show it. So those are the two biggest distinctions, but I'll go through coming soon also for you. But while in withhold, one of the newest things that has come up is, okay, so you have it in withhold, it's staying there. Let's just say now somebody approaches you. They hear about it because, people just hear about things. We don't know how, they just hear. They're like, hey, I heard you got that house on the market or in withheld. Can I go and see that? Well, NAR's new interpretation to the Clear Cooperation Policy, which came about, I think, it's probably been about 3 or 4 months now. And I will also send the FAQ for you guys after that with this PDF. But NAR's new interpretation to the Clear Cooperation Policy is as long as it is a one-to-one, broker-to-broker communication. Okay, that means it is not going out in mass emails. Nobody is sending mass emails. It's not brokerage to brokerage. It is just a one-to-one communication. So the agent from, let's just say, Coldwell Banker reaches out to you and says, hey, I saw that you had this going on, or I heard you had this going on, but I don't see it on the MLS. Can I show it? At that point, they have an interested buyer for you. They do now allow it because it was a one-to-one communication. Or let's just say you have a past agent that you are working with that is not in your brokerage, but you know that they do have somebody who a buyer for this property that would be perfect for it. As long as you tell them on a one-to-one basis, it is okay to show it and it is okay to tell them about it. Otherwise, it stays within the MLS in withhold and it stays within your brokerage to your brokerage clients only. Okay. Do you guys have questions on that? That is the newest interpretation and that is one of the biggest questions we've gotten. No questions on that one?
If you can repeat it again briefly, please.
Sure. So again, clear, and I'll go into the Clear Cooperation Policy also in pretty full detail. But what their new interpretation is while you have that listing in withhold, there's absolutely no public marketing. Okay. You're still keeping it within your brokerage. It is okay to do talking to people within your brokerage. It is okay to show it to the clients within your brokerage. However, if somebody comes to you and they found out about it, they come to you and they say, I heard you have this property. I have a buyer who's really interested. I think it would be perfect. Can I please show it? As long as the sellers are okay with that and it was a one-to-one communication, it is okay to show it. Okay. Again, it cannot be sent out in mass emails. It can't be from one brokerage to another brokerage. It has to be one-to-one communication, one-on-one. Or again, if you know of somebody who is an agent you worked with before and you know they have a buyer for this property, it is okay to show that as long as it was a one-to-one communication. But now the one thing I do want everybody to be very, very careful about is antitrust. Okay. If somebody finds out that maybe you've kept it in withhold this whole time and you've shown it on a one-to-one basis to, let's just say, 5 agents, because they reached out to you or you knew of them, and there was just a very small select few people, that could look like you are keeping that away from the rest of everybody else. And it could look like an antitrust violation where maybe you're discriminating against a certain class or type of people. So be very careful. Always discuss it with your brokerage if this is something that is okay to do. Just because we do see that kind of stuff happening also. So again, that is where it's best to just put it on the MLS and have it out there for everybody. Let's just say the seller wants it on the MLS or doesn't want it out everywhere. They're okay with it being on the MLS, but they don't want it on all the websites. You can then put it into an active status and just choose internet no. Because what happens there when you do that is by choosing internet no, it keeps it within the MLS. So you're still compliant with clear cooperation policy. You're letting everybody else see it, but it's not going out to all the websites and all the syndication sites because for privacy reasons, they just may not want it out there. And that's okay. We've always had that option. So feel free to just go on before you even move from withhold, just go on and change it to internet no. And that will make sure it does not go anywhere. But that way, like I said, it keeps it compliant with the clear cooperation policy. And what the clear cooperation policy is, and this was adopted back in 2020, the clear cooperation policy states that within 1 business day of public marketing, you will put the listing on the MLS as either coming soon or active. Okay. So again, that's 1 business day, not 24 hours. I know that 24 hours is out there, but it's 1 business day. So if there's any sort of public marketing of any kind, signs, Facebook posts, and please know that the Facebook post, there's what is it called? Off market listings or something of that sort. Even if they are on there and that is screenshotted and sent to us, we will wait the 1 business day. And if it's not on the MLS, then there is a fine that gets sent. Okay. And it's a large fine. So you want to make sure that you are not putting it out anywhere unless it is in an active type status. So like I said, coming soon is an active type status. And active is if they don't want their listing anywhere else, then just choose internet no. Okay. That will make sure that you're compliant with the clear cooperation policy. And then also things to know with the clear cooperation policy, we absolutely cannot and will not send out any of the fines unless we have actual proof. So if somebody sends it to us, so let's just say you drove by a property and you saw a sign in the yard, we would need an actual photo of that sign in the yard to come to us. We would have to wait 1 business day from the day that we got that. Okay. So we do that and everything is confidential. So please don't think of it as tattletaling though. Think of it as keeping people compliant. And not only that, making sure claims of misrepresentation doesn't happen because there are a lot of claims out there. So it really is helping keep clean data and keeping everybody doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. But everything that does come to us is confidential. we cannot and do not share that information. So you may have called us and said, who turned me in? It's not really them turning you in. It's them keeping you compliant. Okay. What tools do you have to ensure they're not AI generated photos or videos? So that's a great question. We are actually working with our legal team right now to create a better guidelines, because right now our guidelines around that is very minimal. But as we know, are you talking about for clear cooperation? Sorry, let me just clarify that before I go into any more of that. Yes. Okay. As far as clear cooperation, that is a great question, because we have not had anybody send us any AI generated photos that we know of at this time. So that is something that maybe we will have to look into. Hopefully somebody is not falsifying a photo in the yard and sending it in. But this again is where, if let's just say that we send you a fine, then let's just say it's not on the MLS. We wait the 1 business day and we send it to you. At that point in time, that is when you're going to call us and talk with us, and not just ignore it, because it will double. Just so you guys know that every 48 hours, it does escalate to a bigger fine. So that's where, it is your turn to then call us, and we are going to verify, however we need to make sure that that is truly not a finable offense. So if it's something like you truly don't have a sign in the yard, then we would ask for documentation of that. Typically, we will have your broker included in on that, so they're aware. And then as long as we have confirmation from you guys, then we would just waive that. So yes, as far as the fine for a clear cooperation violation, it is $1,000 fine. So that is why, we don't want to send them. So please, please, please don't public market unless your listing is on the MLS. And 2, that is why we absolutely need proof of violation before we would send this out. Okay. We absolutely will not. Again, it is all confidential, but we will not send that out unless we have the proof of violation.
Did you just mention something about a sign in the yard?
Mm-hmm.
So 15 years ago, I had a lot of REO properties, so we'd have signs, getting in the yards. And then what we did is they said for sale on them. And so that violates, obviously the rule.
Correct.
And so what I did is I removed the word for sale. And so just because there's a sign in the yard doesn't necessarily mean that the property is currently for sale.
Right.
So,
however, so that's where, okay, so let's just say you're correct. Okay, 2 things here on that. Okay, if there's a sign in the yard and you have a contract in place and it's your brokerage sign, that is a finable offense because you have the contract in place. Okay, so remember, if there's a contract in place and there's any kind of public marketing, even if it doesn't say for sale, but it's a brokerage sign, that means your brokerage is doing something with this. Yep. So then it would be finable. But the turnaround to that, so let's just say you have the sign in the yard with your brokerage logo and all that on it, but there's no contract in place. That is no longer MLS, but that is commerce. So that's where you want to be very careful. And I know it feels like you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place there, but that's where we're at in the landscape of real estate right now. So as you know, clear cooperation is constantly changing. So it is always subject to change. But yes, anytime there is anything that has to do with your brokerage, especially, that would be public marketing. If there's no contract in place, and maybe let's just say the owners put a for sale by owner sign up, check with commerce, check with legal hotline to see if that would be a licensing violation, because that would fall under state statute, the 82 point, whatever it was. But if there's no contract, no violation with NorthstarMLS. So, and then you guys may have seen if that happened to you and maybe you did not have the contract in place, but you were advertising it, whether it be via sign, email, Facebook, Instagram, any of that, and we'll send you the fine. we will waive it. We don't even consider that a first offense. So we make notes on that because if there's no contract, but we always say then check with your broker because this could, we always say it could be because we're not going to say it is because it is up to the state of Minnesota to say yes, it is. So that's where we always say check with your broker on that. Okay. Great questions.
Perfect.
Do you guys have any other questions on clear cooperation and how that works? Anything? That is one of the biggest, hottest topics right now. But I will, like I said, I will send the FAQ for the withheld/CCP also when I send you guys the PDF PowerPoint. A lot of great information in there. So if there are no other questions, I know we're getting pretty close to time, so I will continue on if you guys have no other clear cooperation questions. Okay, so just remember, the biggest thing to remember as far as clear cooperation goes, as far as clear cooperation is true for all MLSs. Okay, all MLSs do have to uphold, unless they are completely a non-realtor MLS. And so that might just throw a whole nother wrench into this. But yes, Wisconsin, Minnesota, anywhere that is a realtor MLS, meaning part of NAR, then yes, that the clear cooperation stands for that. But even some of the MLSs that are non-realtor, they did bring in and adopt that into their policy. So always check your policy manuals because a lot of times they will still adopt that into their policy, even though it's an NAR qualification or an NAR mandated policy. So yes, Wisconsin also. All right. Okay, so we're going to jump into coming soon. And again, you guys stop me if you need to, or if you have questions. I love the questions coming in. So coming soon, that is when you have your listing contract and they want it out there. They want it for everybody to see. They want to advertise the property out on the World Wide Web. They're just not ready to show it yet. Okay. So you can have your listing in the coming soon status for up to 21 days. Our system will automatically move it from coming soon to active on that 21 days. Okay. So again, there's no showings. If there are showings and it is proven to us that there are showings during that time, that is also a $1,000 fine. So please make sure that you're not showing it. And again, we do need proof before we send that violation. But you have the 21 days in coming soon. So let's just say you put it in coming soon for 21 days. But on the 15th day, they say, you know what? I think I'm ready. Let's go live. Okay. You guys absolutely can do that. Always get everything in writing. But if you do that, and let's just say that there are showings scheduled, it really is a best practice to let everybody who has a showing scheduled, let them know that you're going to go active early, 6 days early. So that way they have the opportunity to check with their buyers and see if they want to come in early. So that way it's a fair playing field. It doesn't feel like anybody's being held away from the listing, that you're trying to keep it away from them and just open it up and only show it to a certain amount of people. Again, antitrust can happen here also. So that's just always a best practice. If you are going to go earlier than what it is showing on the MLS, just let anybody who has showing scheduled to know and get it in writing. You always want everything in writing because, you know, your sellers may tell you to do that. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, you guys have a fight and maybe they want to end the contract. And then they start saying that you moved it sooner than they wanted. I mean, we see these things come in. They're true instances that happen. So just be very careful and get everything in writing. But within that coming soon. Okay. So let's just say now you set it to active and all of a sudden, and you're within your 21 days, but you set it to active early. And all of a sudden they say, I want to put it back into coming soon. I guess I'm not ready. Well, you can't. Okay. So once you move it out of that coming soon into an active status, it cannot go back. Even if you cancel the listing and put it back on, it still cannot go into a coming soon status. If the listing has been on the MLS, even if it's not been in a coming soon status, but if it's been on the MLS as an active type status, it cannot go into coming soon status unless it's been off the MLS for 90 days or more, if it's been sold, or if it's relisted with a new brokerage. So again, it cannot go into a coming soon status if it's been on as an active type status for more than 90 days, sold with another brokerage, or sold or listed with another brokerage. Okay. Does anybody have questions on that? No? Awesome. All right. So we're going to just keep moving on. I have one more slide, and then I do want to open it to questions because I know we're getting really close to time. So as far as comp solds, we have a lot of questions come in about comp sold listings. It is completely okay. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm confident if it is for... So you can't, the clear cooperation policy. Sorry, Randy, what is this one?
Sorry. Okay, so somebody just asked if that same rule applied in Wisconsin, and so I know the MLS
yes.
obviously extends there, and then with the state, I'm just not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's similar.
Well, I do know that as far as advertising, for Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, you still need a listing, an agreement. Yes, and I think that is under their statute 42. I think it's 42 REEB. Only because I ran the MLS in Wisconsin. So yes, I kind of know some other state statutes also. It's just stuff that stays in my brain. So yes, you do need an active contract in order to advertise within Wisconsin. Most states you do need to, and clear cooperation does cover all of that. So sorry, I missed that. So I'll keep an eye on the chat. Again, either unmute or put stuff in the chat if you have questions, comments, any of that.
Kind of hard to run the meeting and run the chat box.
Yeah, I have it up now so I can keep an eye on it. So comp solds, like I said, we do get those a lot. We do appreciate you guys putting in your comp solds, but one of the things to know, and we see a lot, is if you are the listing agent, okay? So let's say you have the listing side of it. It should have been put into the MLS within the 2 business days. So that's not truly a comp listing. That listing goes, even if you have it in withheld, let's just say you have a listing, it's been in withheld for the whole duration because they just didn't want it anywhere on the MLS. They didn't want it anywhere, okay? So what you would do in that case, if you have the listing side only, you have the listing agreement, it's in withheld, it's been in withheld the whole time, but now it's the day that it's going to close. Your first step is change everything to internet no, because they don't want it out anywhere, okay? Because the minute, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go from withheld to active depending, pending to closed. That is how you will close it on a listing side when it's been in withheld the whole time. That is how you'll close it. That's how you'll get your comp for that. That's how you'll be able to have it be out there to be seen on the MLS. So that way you guys can track your solds. If you forget and don't do that, and now it's the day after, you cannot close it. Okay. It has to be closed out on the close date, because anything afterwards is now a comp listing and only the buyer's agent can put it in. Okay. And that's how comp solds are run. It is the buyer's agent. So if maybe you have both sides, that'll be a little bit different then. If you have both sides, a lot of people don't do both sides, but if you do, that's a little bit different. But let's just say that you listed with somebody and they had it withheld and they never put it active, and now their withheld expired, but you have the buyer side and you really want to get credit for that buyer side. With the buyer's written permission to put it on the MLS, you can put it in at any time. We do not, anytime after the sale, I should say. We don't have a timeline. So even if it's a year later and you were like, hey, I had that listing, I am the buyer on that, buyer's agent. I want that in the MLS so I can track it. you're more than welcome to put it in there as long as you have written permission from the buyer. Good thing for the buyer to know is it doesn't go anywhere. These comp listings stay within the MLS only, and they don't go anywhere, and there's limited amount of details. And then a question came in. Why, if you listed the property and later realized that you have some repair work to do for a couple weeks, what status would the listing go into? So if you listed the property and it's active, it's an active one, and now they have the repair work or something comes up, you're just going to want to put it into temporary not available for showing. Okay. What happens there is it goes over there. There's no days on market because it gets pulled right off the market. Nobody can see it out on any of the websites anywhere. It is searchable within the MLS, but it does not go on the auto emails. It does not go anywhere. So know that days on market stop during TNAS, but that means all marketing stops also. So if something happens and they need it off and they can't show it, they can't do anything, you would want to put it into temporary not available for showing. What if you want to represent an investment buyer that wants to sell before they close the property? Can you market the property and how? So meaning the equitable title. So I'm guessing this is the question because we do see this come in. So we get this a lot with foreclosures, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but we see this a lot with a foreclosure property, not always there, but it's in redemption period. It's being sold by a listing agent because the owner's trying to get it sold before it does foreclose. Okay. In that case, the bank may hire another and kind of like an investment buyer. They may hire somebody to list the property knowing or thinking that it's going to not close this way and it's going to foreclose, and then they're going to be able to list it on this side. So if there is equitable title, let's just say it's 2 of them, you can, as long as there's equitable interest in there, you can put that second listing on. However, it does need to clearly state that it is, it would typically we have you put it in remarks, or you can do active other for the contingency, because that is going to show that there's truly an active offer going on with this right now. It is over here trying to be closed out, but we want to list it over here. Or if it is an investment buyer, they may be, if this is the same situation that we've seen come in, an investment buyer is buying the property, but it's not, this agent A hasn't sold it yet to the investment buyer who's buying it. So investment buyer is going to buy this property from agent A, but it's not closed yet, but they know they're closing. So now they want to go ahead and list it before this one closes. Okay. Check with your broker before you do that. Check with Legal Hotline on all the legalities of it. But yes, we would allow that to be listed in the MLS. Again, that would still fall under the equitable title. So you would just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that the buyer and the seller are all on the same page, and that there is very clear disclosures about what is going on with that. So I'm not sure. There were 2 different situations, but those are what we see come in. Did that answer your question, Dennis? Feel free to.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I want more clarification, I can call the legal hotline myself, or does that have to go through the broker type of thing?
It has to go through the broker. Yep. So any kind of contractual type of stuff would have to go through the broker. They call legal hotline. Obviously, that's where you would get your answers. Please know also, as far as MLS is concerned, we don't get to deal with disclosures either. So any kind of legal disclosures, unless it's something that we require, as far as contingencies, and we can go through contingencies, or that could be for the next meeting, because I know we're pretty much at time. But you always want to put your disclosures on, check with your broker when they need to be. But if we get something sent to us requesting disclosures to be put on, we will send you something as just hey, this was brought to our attention, but we cannot require them to be put on because we do not get to regulate them at all. So With that being said, we are at 11 o'clock. If you guys have more questions, I know I don't want to take up your time. I'm so sorry for the late start, and I promise to email everything forward for you guys. But do you guys have more questions? No?
You might get lucky here with none.
Okay. Well, you know what? If you guys are willing to do it, we can always schedule another one. I am so sorry that my computer completely crashed and technology crashed. But I will get you that PDF. I'll also send you the FAQs for clear cooperation and the withhold, because it is a really good documentation. But also, feel free to call. Please know that we really do not want to fine anybody, and we really want to educate and work with you. So no question is a stupid question, and always feel free to give us a call, email, anything
And
I
just want to give your office a plug. This is Kathy, because you guys are so fantastic. Every time that I've called the MLS, they are the most helpful people you will ever talk to. They take all the time that you want, and they will walk you through everything. So I think we probably will try to schedule you again, maybe in a month or so, Tricia, if that's okay.
And I should have a new computer by then, but I will make sure to have backup computers going and ready, so this does not happen again. So I am so sorry.
Yeah, no, not a problem. It happens. I
You
was
know,
having
I'm going to add
problems
too,
with mine.
because you know, a lot of people call in, they're trying to track down myself or Jeremy, you know, with questions about how to handle something in the MLS. It's not, so the broker hotline is quite different. They don't.
Yes.
They usually want me to vet the answer. I could probably answer and then call them when I need legal help. But with the MLS, if you go to NorthstarMLS.com, their phone number is right in the bottom right-hand corner. And I mean, they're got, you know, there's people there answering questions, either general questions, or they transfer you to rules and regulations for those questions. So you can get any question.
Actually, what I'm going to do, I will put in the chat right now the rules and regulations line, so you guys have that. Just because sometimes I'm not always there, or like tomorrow, my whole day is filled with meetings. So that way you'll get Justin or Sarah. But yes, please call us or email us with any questions, because we truly are here. We are your resource. So use us. Let us send you other resources. Anything you need, we really are here to help you.
I agree with Kathy too. They've been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I talked to you a couple weeks ago. You were wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
You are. I left Tricia a message about coming on this Zoom, and literally she called me back like in less than 5 minutes. So, I mean, you can't beat that, right?
Well, we try to, like I said, we try to be on top of things. We try to be there because your business is very go, 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 and you guys have a lot to deal with. We know that, and we need answers sometimes immediately. So we will always try to get you what you need as soon and as fast as possible. And one other thing, I'll just let you guys know, if there's something that you don't see in our website, you know, I do create a lot of generalized places for you guys to go, rules, any of that. If you don't see anything, let us know. We'll create it and put it out there. Also, if there's system functions that you're seeing are not working or you need, let me know. I can't always get them, but a lot of times I can get things passed through our MLS exec team. So we are truly here to make it workable for you guys.
Great. And I appreciate all of you NRG agents too for coming on. I mean, we put a lot of effort into these Zoom meetings, and your attendance means the world to us. Just as few less people that we have to try to teach. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And we will see all of you NRG agents on the next one. Make sure you tell your coworkers about these and how informative they are. And you all have a wonderful week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.